Hi there, thanks for joining me. Today we're going to look at uploading your books to the Google Play Store so that people can buy and hopefully enjoy your ebooks. So, to get started, this is what you'll need to know. What you're going to need before we get going, this is going to make everything a lot smoother than if you have to go dashing around for things after the fact. You're going to need your manuscript, obviously, and pretty much everywhere these days wants it in EPUB format, so that's nice and easy. You've almost certainly got this already. You're going to need your cover image, JPEG or PNG format. You can't use Photoshop. You can use Photoshop to create it. You can't upload the Photoshop file. You need to export it as a JPEG or a PNG. Best quality you can. Most sites don't have too large of a size limit on this. They'll adjust it as they need to for displaying it. So yeah, just the best quality you can manage. Your blurb, something that's going to make people want to buy and read that book. Make it as good as you can, and good luck. Genre information. Now don't worry if you don't know what BISAC codes and things are, it's not important. You just need to know what genre your book is. Now you can pick and choose this. If you've done this with Amazon for KDP, you'll have already known that you can select a certain number of categories. This is exactly the same thing. Just know whether it's sci-fi or fantasy or historical or romance, and whether you maybe want to put it in 2 or 3 different categories. You'll see that as we go through. An author bio. Now, if you've already set up your store, you probably won't need this again, but if you're doing this for the first time, you're definitely going to need this. And again, just gives people an idea of who you are. And pricing information. How much do you want to charge? I don't bother doing this for every single country in the world. There's far too many. What I will tend to do is focus on just the UK, where I am, the US, where most people tend to buy ebooks, certainly in English, and the EU. And if any other country is available for you to sell in, then it'll automatically choose a price for those. But I'll set those 3, and then I'll make sure that's the same across all the stores. That is quite important. Amazon, for example, if they spot that you're selling it cheaper elsewhere, they will drop the price to match, and other stores will all do the same. So if you put it the same everywhere, you won't have any problems. If this is your first time using Google Play, Google Bookstore, whatever you want to call it, you're probably going to need your bank account details. I mean, you want to get paid, right? And tax information. Now, as you'll see when we go in, I haven't filled in all of my tax information yet. You do need to do it before you can get paid, but this can be a bit of a faff. You've got to request certain things from certain people. So don't worry if you don't have all this right away. It just means that there might be a delay to your payments. So it's something you want to sort out, but it doesn't have to stop you putting your first book up there. And some optional extras. You don't need to have these, but it's a good idea. ISBN. Now, technically, you don't need an ISBN for an EPUB. And to upload it to the Google Store, you don't need it. Google will give you a unique identifier so they know what book is yours. Some people like to have an ISBN for searchability reasons, discoverability. I've never really seen any particular downside to not having one, but if you do have one, make sure you've got it to hand, put it in, it'll make life a lot easier. Details of your publisher or your imprint. Now again, if you're an indie published author, if you're doing it yourself, you probably don't have a publisher or an imprint, but some people like to set one up. Now it doesn't have to be a corporation, doesn't have to be anything clever. I've literally just picked a name that no one else was using, set up a website. That's it. It's not a corporation. I don't have a bank account for it. I don't have a director nominated, anything like that. It's literally just, I've made up a name. Some people call it after their pets. Do what you like. You don't have to. If you don't put anything in, it'll just show up as you. But if you want to, it makes it look like you're coming from a bigger place. It doesn't matter. And some tea or coffee or whatever it is you like to drink. Because it's not difficult, but we don't want you getting dehydrated. Now, a few quick things to remember before we get started. These sites want you to sell their books. Sell your books, not their books, your books. And so they make this as straightforward as they can. And they want to help. They're not trying to make this difficult. It's a bit fiddly, it's a bit tricky sometimes, but they really do want you to succeed. You can save your progress as you go, so if you have to stop for some reason, you're not going to lose everything, you can come back to it later. They have help resources. On every page, pretty much, you'll see loads and loads of little question mark icons you can click on. There's help documents, and of course there's Google and wherever else to get feedback from other people about what they've had to do to fix problems. Feel free to use all of that. This is just going to be an overview of how I do it. You may want to make different choices. You'll need to use the help resources to work out what all of those options are. And you can always make changes later. If I know I've said you need your cover, you need your blurb, all these things, all of that can be changed. You can even upload a new version of the document. None of this is set in stone, so don't feel like you've got to get this perfect this time. You can fix it in the future if you need to. All right, so with all that said, let's go and have a look. So this is my website, and this is the book today, Earth Under the Martians, that we're going to be uploading to Google. And if you're interested, this is my website. Otherwise, we're going to go here, which is play.google.com/book/publish. Now, if you just go to the Google Play Store, there is not a link to this. You can find it somewhere on Google's site eventually, but their storefront doesn't have an obvious link to getting your own book published. It's the same with Amazon, it's the same with Apple. If you just go as a customer, you won't see all of this. So if you go to this link, there'll be a link in the downstairs doobly-doo, and sign in. Now, I'm already signed into Google, so it'll just click through and load the page. Right, as you see, I've filled in some tax info, and it still wants some more. So it's going to use defaults, blah, blah, blah. Series bundle discounts, we're going to come back to all of that, we don't need it. Now, obviously, I've got 3 books currently up, and they haven't sold anything. That's because I've just done this. I haven't started publicising it, I haven't started doing anything. We get promo codes, and then we get, this is just your dashboard. So these are the books we've got currently available. And as you say, nothing happening. So we've got book catalogue, we've got series catalogue. I'm not going to touch on series today. Yes, this is part of a series. At some point I will add them as a series, so it'll guide readers through. But today I'm just going to put the book up as it is. You've got promotions, analytics reports, blah, blah, blah. Book catalogue, that's where we want. So these are my books. You can see here, this is what I was talking about with ISBNs. These two have an ISBN, great. This one doesn't, also good. Doesn't matter, not a problem, this is all fine. They're currently live on Google Play, but I want to add one, so we're going to add one. Add a book. So, sell option. You want to sell an ebook? Create an auto-narrated audiobook. This is a new thing that they're doing. It's currently free because they're beta testing it. It's an AI voice reading your book. It's not for me. You may like to play with it. I'm probably going to play with it at some point, but I don't know if I'll make it available. And you can offer a preview on Google Books. Now, this is separate to Google Play. Google Books is like their list of available books in the world. Google Play is what you want. That's where you're selling your ebook. So that's what we're going to do. Select a book ID, and here we go. You can use an ISBN or an EAN if you have it. If you don't have it, you're going to use a Google Book ID, a GG key. I have an ISBN, and I'm just going to copy it from another document because I can't remember 13 digits in a row. Save and continue. This is when you need your tea because you're waiting for everything. Right, here we go with about the book. So this is called Earth Under the Martians. I have a description ready to go. This is your blurb. This is what's going to, badly formatted, this is what's going to make people want to read your book. Here's my identifier, English. Now obviously when I created my account, because I already have an account here, it'll ask you who you are. It's an ebook. Page count. Now that's something I forgot to mention. We don't really have page counts in ebooks, but if I come back to this and click through to Amazon, it tells me it's 236 pages, so I'm just going to copy that. That's actually for the paperback, but it doesn't matter. Now, release date. In my case, if I go back to my website again, it's out now. I published it on September the 1st last year, so I'm going to put that in. September the 1st, and the publication date. Now you think, what's the difference between these? Release date is when you're actually making the book available for sale. So you can put this in the future if you're doing a pre-order. You can make it today if the book's just going live today. In my case, I've put it into the past because then it'll line up with the other sites. It doesn't really matter. Publication date, it's what it calls bibliographic information. It doesn't actually make a difference. But again, I'm going to do the same. You can also just type this in. It's got to be in year, month, day format. If your book has a minimum and maximum age, or if it's for mature audiences, such as sexual content, profanity, excessive violence. If it's not for kids, basically. I'm going to leave all those blank. It's a book for adults, but it's not a particularly nasty work or anything. And then you've got this related books. Now, if there are any other ISBNs associated with this book, you might think you need to put your paperback in here. You don't, because the only options you get are it's part of a larger work, it includes another work, it's an alternative format. Maybe you should put that. I never have, and it's never been a problem. And you've got other languages, so you can do translations, replaces, so if you're doing a second edition. I don't do any of that. Get rid. I'm not going to do anything with it. Next step. You see, we're going to work our way across the top here. So now we're into genres, and this is where your BISAC comes in. Now you can choose other things. You've got BIC for UK and Australia, blah, blah, blah. You can put all of these or none of these. I tend to stick with BISAC, and I'm going to put in a few that I've already picked. We've got Alien Contact. Add another one. We've got post-apocalyptic science fiction and science fiction. Nope, they don't hyphenate it. Science fiction, not romance. Fiction, science fiction in general. So you can just pull them off the list, or you can add them in by name if you know what they all are. Save and continue. Contributors. This is going to be me. I'm not going to put my biography in right now. I thought I didn't need it for another book, but apparently I do. Save and continue. Again, you can come back and change this. You can add this to a series. I don't want to do this now because it gets in the way. It sort of leaves this book half finished. Like I say, it saves it, you're fine, but it will leave it half finished and you have to come back and finish it off. So I'm just going to skip this. Again, you can add this later, it's not a problem. And then settings. So how will it appear? DRM. Now this is supposed to prevent people from copying it or printing it. In reality, if somebody really wants to pirate the book, they will, and only one person has to do it, and then it's available. I say no. They recommend no as well, because it gets in the way. If someone wants to copy it from one device to another that they own, it can stop them sometimes, and that's just annoying. The preview limit, 20% recommended. That's if someone goes to the store and says, I want to have a look and see before I buy, they can read 20% of it before they have to buy the rest. Again, that's their recommendation. You can pick and choose 20 to 60%. And then copy and paste. They recommend 20%. I don't tend to change it. And advanced settings, I don't change any of these either. Show photos, insert a blank page, blah, blah, blah. Don't bother with it at all. Skip all of that. Save and continue. Now, we still haven't told it what the book actually is. This is where we get to do that. So we're uploading the files, the contents, and the cover. So, upload a file. So I've got my EPUB and my cover. Now, you don't have to tell it which is which. It's smart enough, thankfully, to figure that out. And then close. So it's received them. Currently no issues, but it hasn't actually tried to do anything yet, and it's processing. Now, this will take a little while. You don't need to wait for it. Continue. And now we're into book prices. So, what I will do is put in the prices that I want to use. So, GBP is £4.99. And then I'm going to unselect worldwide, scroll all the way down to United Kingdom. Done. And then add another price. In this case, we're going to put it in euros, and it's going to be €5.99, and I can select Euro area, which is quite nice. It automatically selects the European Economic Zone, or European Commercial Zone, whatever that stands for. And then I'll put USD. In this case, it is $6.99, and I'm going to leave that on world. So that will be then the price that's everywhere else. It'll get converted into the local currencies, and so on. So if I hit save, rather than save and continue, if I just hit save, what we'll then see is the effective prices. Boop. So for example, Argentina, $9 US. Australia, based on that $6.99 US, $10.81. It also tells you what your revenue is going to be. They'll take 30%. That's their fee for running the store, dealing with the credit cards, returns, customer support, all that sort of stuff. But you can see, obviously, you know, I've even got it in Hong Kong dollars here. I don't want to have to go through and set every one of those by hand. But you can, if you want. If you think that 54.86 isn't a nice enough round number, you can change that. I'm not going to. Review and publish. So we check that this is all correct. Content and cover. Now this is weird because it's got the content is the JPEG and the cover doesn't seem to exist. That's weird. Let's go back to content. Still thinking about it. You know what? I'm going to trust that Google thinks they know what they're doing and hit publish. This will take a little while, but then it will pop up and say you have added your book. Now it's added it to Google Play and Google Books. Again, this is their sort of library front ends where they talk about all the books in the world. Google Play is the store, which is where you want to be, and we hit done. Now we go back here. It hasn't uploaded the cover yet, and it says needs action. Now I get this a lot, where it says needs action. If you click on it, it just tells you your book isn't live. Well, I know that. If it's been more than 24 hours since you submitted this book, contact us. And again, this isn't right. The cover's not right, the thing's not right. But again, it hasn't finished processing yet. So what we need to do now is just wait. So that's all done. I can go back. We're now in the book catalogue. And what we'll do is we'll hit refresh in an hour or two and see what happens. It's possible that this needs action will give me another error, which I'll have to act on, in which case I'll show you what I need to do. But more than likely it's just going to suddenly go live. Worth noting, they don't email you. Whether there's a problem or whether it goes live, you will not get an email to tell you. You're going to have to come back here and check again. Alright, so we're going to pause for a bit and then I'll bring you back in when things are working. Okay, it's been about a half an hour and you can see now the EPUB is under process content. Front cover is there and it knows it's a cover file, so it sorted all of that out by itself. It says no issues. I'm not doing this at 6 in the morning. This is Google's time, not my time. If I go back to book info, no. If I go to summary, my book is live. Live in the following regions, and that's pretty much every region that's available. In fact, I think it's every region that's available. Got my book details. As I say, content and cover are now sorted out. And if I go back to the main page, live on Google Play. But where, you say? Well, come into here. This link here. Yeah, exactly. It's hidden. But if I press that, it takes me to the Play Store, and there's my book. Because I'm in the UK, I get the UK price. I can get a free sample, and off we go. So that's it. Your book's live. You can now take that link, add it to whichever website you're using. Maybe you've got one of those universal book links. You can add that to that, and you're good to go. I hope that was helpful. If you've got any questions, let me know, and I'll see you next time.